What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Mill food recycler. Last year I made a video about it, made it a part of the Let's Talk About series, and you all actually were super interested in it. You all had a lot of questions about it. So I've actually been working with Mill and they sent me out a unit to try, and I've actually been trying it for a month or two now, maybe like a month and a half, something like that. And so I wanted to give my actual thoughts. Is it worth the $1,000 price tag? Is it worth it in general? And I think what's going to be most helpful is to break this down into two sort of sections, maybe three. The first is just my experience using it. The second is like the specs and things, and like more about like the nitty gritty of the product itself and what it's doing. The third section would be kind of a Q&A where I look back at the questions you all had in the first video and even some of the frequently asked questions on their website and answer those for you. On this channel, we talk about tech from an intentional living and minimalist perspective. We like tech that follows form and function. So if that sounds cool to you, please consider subscribing and like this video for more. I'll also say if you use the link down in the description, you can get an extra $125 off your order of a Mill food recycler. So yeah, let's talk about my experience using it. First of all, it's just a very easy product. You open it up, take all like the stickers and tape off of it, plug it in, and it's ready to go. You start throwing food in. You can set up the app on your phone as you should. It's kind of as simple as that. It's basically a trash can that works on your behalf to churn that food and dry it out so that you don't have to do that on your own and you don't have to fill up a landfill with your uneaten food scraps. I think the design of this product was very intentional. It looks beautiful. I mean, it's the prettiest trash can I've ever seen. I like the wood top on it. I like the material they used on the outside and the texture there. I like the minimal branding of the whole company and the website. Everything just looks really nice. So whichever agency did all that, props to you. So it's really simple to use. It looks really nice. I think the thing that's wild is like you put like meat and fruit and vegetables and bread and literally there's a lot of types of food you can put in there. It dries it out. And so there's literally no smell. My wife was like, is this gonna be like disgusting? Like having this in our kitchen with chicken that we ate a week ago in there, like churning around. Like it sounds really gross, but there's absolutely no smell. When it's done doing its thing, it's just this kind of like soil looking stuff in the bottom. It's not soil, but it kind of looks like that in the bottom of this thing. You open it up, it doesn't smell. If anything, it smells a little sweet, which is kind of weird. It might be me imagining it, or maybe we put a lot of fruit in there or something. I don't know, but there's just no smell to it. I will say it's pretty kid and pet friendly. You can actually lock the device on your app, and then there's a button that you can either just push once and it opens it up, or push and then hold and then it opens it up. So my kids don't know that little combination and they can't open it up and get their hands in there and play around, which is super nice. Being able to go over there and throw stuff in, which is super cool. And we talk about, hey, that goes in this trash can, that goes in that one, and this is why it goes in there kind of thing, which is super fun as well. I'll also say while it's doing its thing, it's very quiet. There's been a couple times where the house was like dead silence. I think it was literally like snowing outside. It was super quiet in the house. And my wife was like, what is that sound? It's just like a low hum. It's actually kind of like a nice sound, which is kind of weird, but it's super quiet. We have it set to run on its schedule while we're asleep at night. It does its thing. We don't hear it, wake up the next day, and all the food that we had thrown in there is now just this nice ground up brown stuff that doesn't smell. It's pretty cool. So I think for me, what was most enticing was one, the design, but two, last year we started a garden in our backyard, and this year I'm excited to take these sort of dried up food scraps and incorporate them into the soil. I think this is a good time to note that this isn't a compost bin. Like we're not composting here. You can't compost with an electronic device. It just doesn't work that way. But you can take this and incorporate it into your compost. You can incorporate it into your soil, but don't just go like dumping all of it in your garden and then hope that your plants grow beautifully. It's got to be mixed in well. So that's kind of my experience using it. I'm excited to use it in the garden this year and see if it makes the plants grow better, kind of thing. I don't know. We'll have to see. So let's move on to the second section here, which just is a little bit more about what it is, how it works, and then we'll move on to that Q&A for you guys. The one concern I do have about the product is the button has this like rubbery film over it, like I don't know if you've ever used a button that's like feels rubber. Because I'm having to use that every time I open it, I wonder how quickly that will wear out over time or if it can be replaced. If you don't have kids or a pet and you're not worried about having to lock it all the time, it has the foot pedal and it opens up and it's like a regular trash can that you would use. But I personally have to have 2 hands available, like holding the food, unlock it, step on it, dump it in. I would just wonder, since I have to do that every time throughout a year or 2 years, how quickly that rubber will wear out or how dirty it gets or whatever it might be. Again, it's a non-issue for those of you who aren't locking it, but if you're having to lock it and unlock it every time, that's something that I've been aware of. Haven't had any issues yet in the 2 months I've used it, but just something I've thought about. All right, so what is it and how does it work? First of all, I've been told, and on their site and everything, they want to make everyone aware, like, it's not a composter. It's different. It's a food recycler, right? It is churning food, breaking it up and drying it out so that it's in this strange soil kind of feeling. It's not soil, it's not compost, it's just recycling your food. The biggest features, right? It's odorless, it's automated, so you can run it at nighttime, run it during the day, whatever you might want to do. It also has a super long capacity. So you can put like a ton of fruit and veggies in there, and because it dries them out, they shrink. So like you can fill this thing up for a few weeks before you even have to dump out the scraps. In fact, I've only dumped it out once and I've been using it, like I said, close to 2 months now. And then there are some like interesting pricing options. You can buy it outright, you can rent it yearly, and you can also pay a subscription to have people come pick up your scraps for you to use in local gardens or farms or whatever. So that's an option as well. They'll actually come pick it up off your front porch. I do think one of the cooler things is it adjusts automatically. So at the end of the day or whatever, it actually has a scale in it and it weighs like how much food you've put in that day and decides, should we run a full cycle tonight or should we wait till tomorrow where there's more food scraps? And then how long that cycle needs to run based on like how watery or wet the food is. And again, how much you put in there to begin with. So now we're gonna move into this Q&A section, which I don't have a ton here. I think I've tried to like kind of condense some of the questions you all had and some of the frequently asked questions into 6 questions here and answer them. The first one is, will the mill break down avocado pits or other hard seeds? And the answer is not really. Like large, big seeds like avocado pits, cherry seeds don't fully break down, so it's best to leave those out. If you have like apple seeds or grape seeds or things like that, that can get incorporated and broken down a little bit, but I would just throw those away. The same goes with, you don't want to throw like a T-bone steak in there. Like big bones aren't going to break down, but if you have like fish bones or tiny chicken bones, things like that, those are usually okay to throw in there. The next question was, how much electricity does it use per month? And it runs at 1 kilowatt hour per day, which is about the same as a high efficiency dishwasher. So if you're running this daily, it's about a cycle on your dishwasher. So if you're trying to think through what is it doing for the environment, how much energy is it using, stuff like that, that's a way you can compare that. Another question was, can I put grease or fatty scraps in the mill? And the answer is no. Small amounts from food, like if you maybe throw some bacon in there, is fine, but dumping liquid grease or a large amount of fat isn't recommended. And in fact, they have this sticker thing you put on your fridge or keep on the mill that kind of shares what you can and can't put in there. They also on their website have a full list of what you can and can't put. The biggest thing is it food? If it's not, throw it away. If it's food, how easily is it going to be dried and broken down? Those are kind of the 2 questions here. And you don't want to get it all sticky by putting yogurt and stuff in there as well. But anyway, they have that full list on their website. There's another question, does it smell after a few weeks? And the answer is no. It's going to continue to dry out your food and churn it up. And so it gets rid of the rotting garbage smell. Your trash can is going to smell worse than this. And I would think, in a way, your trash can will actually smell less because you're putting a lot of those food scraps in the mill. The next one is, how does it compare to composting? It is different. This isn't compost, it's a food recycler. So food grounds need to be processed further if you want to use them in soil. You can either put them into compost or spread them out in your soil. From my understanding, that's how it works. Mill, if you're watching, maybe you can explain that a little bit better. That's how I intended to use it and kind of the idea I got off their website. But no, you can't just fill up your garden with food scraps and it work the same way that soil does. And then is the question of price. So it's $9.99 to buy it outright, and then you can rent it per year for $359.88. It is pricey, but if you want a low maintenance, no odor way to recycle food waste, it might be worth it. And I think this sort of leads into the end of this video. Of course, if you have any further questions, let me know in the comments down below. My final thoughts are, obviously I was sent this for free from the company, so I have to take that into consideration here. But being able to use it, it's very simple, very easy. It's not confusing. It tells you when it's full and you need to dump out your scraps. It's low maintenance and it's working on your behalf. I think it's cool. I think I want to continue to use it, test it out, see if it will help our garden grow and give our garden nutrients. I think the biggest thing this device is doing is helping keep food scraps out of landfills. First and foremost, you're taking that which is going to go there and you're instead churning it up, giving it to chickens, farmers, using it yourself, putting it in your compost. You're just recycling your food. So if that's something that's very important to you, if you're very aware and conscious of your effect on the environment and the world, I think this is perfect for you. And I think a lot of people can find value in what this does. Otherwise, I'm not really sure. I don't know if you don't care too much about where your scraps go and you're just someone who throws them away, then I don't know if this is worth it, honestly. If it doesn't matter to you what you're doing with your food, then it's more of a hassle for you to put food in two different places. But anyway, special thanks to Mill for sending out the device for me to use. I've enjoyed it. My kids have enjoyed it. We're definitely excited to see how it can help our garden this year. As I mentioned before, link in the description if you'd like an extra $125 off. And I have noticed throughout the year they run different sales and things like that, so you can be aware of those. That's gonna do it for this video. Thanks so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, like this video for more, and I'll see you in the next one.